lunch and are having a good time. With the help of others, I've tried to sum up our 9 years at St. Bernard. I would like to share with you some of the lasting memories we have with the teachers, beginning with kindergarten. We had a great introduction to the school because of Sister Margaret. She gave us a warm welcome and made us feel at home. Having lived on a farm at one time, Ms. Schultz had many interesting stories to tell us. She used these stories to teach us science. Even though Sister Stella taught the first grade, she gave us a fine introduction to geography. Grandparents' Day is a special event in St. Bernard's, and Mrs. Kelly's class always has a great act. The basics of life are what Mrs. Cobden taught, by example, such as the time when she married Gina Kelly and Michael McDevitt to show the class how an actual wedding was performed. Davy and Goliath was Mrs. Inwood's favorite show. Her class learned many parables by watching it. She's a very special person to me and I'm sure to many others. Mrs. Casiato taught us that lying can have harsh punishments. She made you wear a tail if you lied or tattled. Charlotte's Web, Super Fudge, Super President. Yes, Mrs. Welch, I am talking about the stories you read to us at snack time. Having been in Mrs. Haggerty's social studies class, we learned everything there is to know about Long Island. The Crayola Company will benefit from Miss Dan because of all the chalk she used to write her notes. All of the students left 5th grade with better creative writing skills because of Miss Lodrose's writing corner. Do you know that the capital of Florida is Tallahassee? I do because Sister Helen's vivid teaching of state capitals. Caring, loving, and helping are 3 adjectives that describe Mrs. Archer. She was always there giving extra help to students who needed it. This teacher took time out of her busy schedule to make awareness days for students. The reward for her was to see the person she helped smile. The person to whom I am referring is Mrs. Kelly. For all of her students to get along with Mrs. Beautiful's dream, if she were here, she'd see her dream a reality. As you know, age is a very personal thing, especially to Mrs. Brunner. Am I right, Mrs. Brunner? The students are developing exceptional arithmetic skills trying to figure out how old she is. Mrs. Brunner, can you tell us? 8th grade reading and language arts classes were always interesting because Sister St. Monica knew just what to do when things were getting boring. The incident that comes to my mind is the time Sister made finger puppets trying to explain verbs and verbals. There are many new teachers at St. Bernard's whom we had never had the opportunity and pleasure of having been in their class. Mrs. Fox, Mrs. Hoffman, Miss Krause, Mrs. Kempton, Miss Moraine, Mrs. Cafaro, Mrs. Keenan. Sportsmanship and winning isn't everything is Miss Twiningson's philosophy. If chipless nail polish had been invented, we'd buy a lot from Mrs. G because she always clicks her nails. We will have a better knowledge of artists in high school because of Mrs. Santa. Whenever someone in St. Bernard's was in the newspaper, everybody knew about it because of Mrs. Fraun's bulletin board. All the 8th graders will know how to play the recorder now because we had lessons given by Mrs. Young. We are now more informed about drugs and alcohol thanks to our social worker, Ms. Medina. It is always a pleasure going down to the lobby to see Mrs. Mahoney, Mrs. Ryan, and Mrs. Hayes. Our mornings have always turned out nice, thanks to Sister Winifred's cheerful thoughts and prayers over the PA. Father Jim and Martini Graham taught us many things. I have many fond memories of St. Bernard's, many of which I will never forget, and I would like to say to all the teachers, thank you very much.
The years we have spent together at St. Bernard have probably been the best days of our lives. Our teachers are largely responsible for this because they taught us to be responsible and to care for all people. They were more than our teachers, they were our friends too. They were always there when we needed them. If we had a problem, we could go to them. They were happy to lend a helping hand, even if they were busy. I'm sure we'll always remember our elementary school teachers because they are such special people. We'll also remember vividly our first day at St. Bernard. Most of the friends we have now were there, making us feel welcome in a strange place. Today, those friends are still with us. They will be right alongside of us when we graduate. Our friends have also helped us become who we are. Whenever we had a problem or were down in the dumps, they were there, giving us advice or trying to cheer us up. Our friends are a special part of us that we will never forget. We have grown together, sharing secrets in each other's friendship. These are the times we will remember. Finally, on this day of remembering, could we ever forget our parents? Those very special people who have stood by us through thick and thin, Perhaps they did ground us for a failing mark or a poor report, but that was only because they love us so much. They continually encouraged us to do better. Their encouragement and support will enable us to surmount any obstacles we might encounter. We have come to a new phase of our education. In September, we will be freshmen in the various local high schools. No doubt we will have the same feelings we had on the first day at St. Bernard. There will be people who will try to make us feel welcome in a strange place. Our friends of today will remain in our circle of friendship, which will widen as we make new friends. In conclusion, I feel confident that I am speaking for each graduate here today as I express deep gratitude to our teachers, our principal, priests of the parish, and our wonderful parents. May God continue to shower his blessings on all of them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Peter. We shift now from listening to graduates to listening to some of the teachers who would like to give special awards and recognition to some of our graduates. Mrs. Bryant, if you would start us, please.
I'd like to say, and I've said this to these children so many times, is that this is the one class that I am going to miss so much because I have become so close to them since they came here. They've been the children that have gotten me through many a day because they put their heads in and they smile and they say hi all the time. I'm going to try to be brief, but if anybody's ever read my triangle article, I give new meaning to the word brief. Okay, my first thought about this class was that I was trying to decide who I could give library awards to. And I tried to think back to the beginning of the year. I knew I couldn't give awards to everybody who did tall jobs, strong jobs, carried projectors, carried screens, carried boxes, unloaded books, because I have so many jobs. So I had to really try to narrow it down. And when I thought about the beginning of the year, all I could remember about it was our 8th grade project, the float. And when I first mentioned the idea of a float to the 8th grade teachers last year, Mrs. Brunner just nodded her head. Sister St. Monica turned green. She mumbled something, and we all know Sister St. Monica does not mumble, and she avoided me for several days. Well, when school started in September, she used to come to me a few times a week and say, "So what's this about a float?" By that time, I was getting a little nervous myself, but I kept a cool demeanor. Well, I must say that once we got going, there was no stopping us. Since I've been here at St. Bernard's, this project was the first time that I worked with not only the students and the teachers, but the parents, husbands, brothers, sisters, and anyone else who we could get to lend a hand. I was really thrilled with the result, because not only did I get to meet so many of the parents, but I really got to know Sister St. Monica. Mrs. Brunner and I are neighbors. Our classrooms are next to each other. Our children are the same age. I already knew her, but I really didn't know Sister St. Monica until this year. And I consider myself very privileged to have gotten to know her. She came through and she worked very hard on a project that I'm sure she wanted nothing to do with. And so this might not be the most conventional of awards, but my very first award this year is the Good Sport Award, and it goes to Sister St. Monica. I'm glad that's up. Okay, and actually, once we did get going, we only got going because of one lovely young lady. And I am so indebted to her for coming up with the idea that she came up with. We didn't win the float competition at the parade, but I don't care what anybody says. Freedom, fellowship, and faith best signified us, better than anything that we could have come up with, any little house or any birthday candle cake. And so my second award for creativity goes to Kristen Shalane. Young Authors Association, and we came up with so many children who were in it. The years before, we had 6 children write books, each of the 2 years that we've done it. This year, we had 25 children involved in the writing and illustrating of 22 books. And I was very, very proud of that. And my first award for Young Authors goes to an illustrator who took the time to work with her 7-year-old brother. Now, I'm sure this was not the easiest project because this 7-year-old brother knows exactly what he likes. And she did a beautiful job of illustrating her book, and that's Gina Kelly. The next Young Author Award goes to an author and an illustrator that I didn't think was going to be talking to me by the end of school. Diane Taylor came to the library every day at lunchtime, and I read Diane's book from beginning to end. And every day I said, Diane, I don't like this. Diane, we have to change this. Diane, this doesn't make sense. Diane, you got the right track over here, but I think you should change this. Every day, and she typed it all herself, and every day she redid it, and she came back, and she looked at me like, please say you like it today. She's a very talented artist, and she did a beautiful job, and the Zany Zoo trip was terrific when it was finished. But she really learned to write and edit and rewrite, and I hope that she learned that well. I know she did. So this is for Diane Taylor. The last two Young Authors Awards I have to do together, and anybody who's witnessed their work knows that I have to do them together. Last year, Carol Wolf came to me, and she had lots of poetry, and I'd seen some of her poetry in the 6th grade. And she said, I'm thinking about doing this. And I said, no, Carol, you're already signed up. It's all done. I already took care of it. You're writing your book of poetry. And she said, no, I don't think you can sign me up. I said, trust me, Carol, I already signed you up. She writes beautiful poetry. Her poetry tells of herself. It tells of her feelings, and it makes you feel good. Sometimes it's sad, but it makes you feel good. She chose her friend Carlos Phillips to illustrate her book. Carlos is one of those really quiet kids that kind of you really don't notice. Well, Carlos, I sat up and took notice because his work, I don't know how to describe, the pictures he drew brought such beauty to her words, and together they worked so beautifully, not only on a book in 7th grade, but also on a book this year. And they donated those books to the library for me to show to everybody. So those awards go to Carol Wolf and Carlos Phillips. Okay, now I'm down to service awards, and everybody already knows, everybody always has to help Mrs. Coyne, because she's too short to reach anything, and she's not strong enough to carry everything. In the beginning, when I tried to figure out service awards, like I said, I could have probably given one to everybody in 209 because they're next door, and I'm always going to get somebody. So I really tried to think hard of who gave of themselves. And I thought about last summer, when I first came back to school, and how hot it was. And how I was unloading boxes, carrying things, putting up bulletin boards, and I was so warm. And I know these boys have no idea they're getting these awards. But 2 boys came 3 days last summer, and they stayed, and they helped, not only me, they helped Mrs. Emily, they helped everybody. But I had the chance to give them an award. And those 2 boys are Eddie Arbogast and Sean Sadowski. Okay, Okay, my library helper award, since she had the very first one, she's probably going to be so embarrassed, but I can't help it. When I came here in the 5th grade, I went to Miss Loderhos and I said to Miss Loderhos, there is one girl in your class who never takes out a book. I don't go to teachers and complain very often, but I said to her, I don't know what to do. She doesn't even pretend. Pretend! Take a book and go read it. And every time I said it to her, why don't you take a book? She says, I don't read. To me, this is total blasphemy. So to be giving her an award for library help, it makes me feel wonderful. She came full circle, and she turned into a lovely young lady, and that's Christine Cromwell. Okay, my next award for service is a repeat award because she already got an award for young authors. And it's for a young lady that I really enjoy having around. She's always there to tell me how good I'm doing. Not too many people come in and tell me how well I'm doing, but Diane Taylor comes in every day to say how well I'm doing, and that makes me feel good. Diane. The next young lady came in all the time, and she helps out at the lunchtime, and she always gave me the news of the weekend. This girl has more plans in one weekend than I've had in a lifetime. Marie Hutton. My next award is for a young lady who you've already met, who doesn't give me the news of the weekend, she gives me the news of her family. This girl is so proud of her brothers and sisters, you wouldn't believe it. She tells me everything. She tells me about everybody's accomplishments. Carrie Hickey. Okay, the next young lady never says anything. She comes and she does all the dirty work. While they're busy telling me news, she's busy working, which I've come to really appreciate, and that's Janet Curran. Only two more. I'm getting it. Okay. Everybody knows that Carol Quincy wants to be a teacher. I have decided it's not her college profession. Carol Quincy should be a principal. Carol Quincy helps everybody. Recently, when Sister St. Monica was in the hospital, somebody came to the faculty room and they were looking for something that was in St. Monica's classroom, and everybody in tune said, ask Carol, she knows everything. I know who's absent in 2nd grade by 8:15. Carol helps it. Carol Beck. And my very last and brief award goes to a girl who's been helping me like Carol has since the 5th grade. She never tells me news unless I ask her, and she's as quiet and sweet as anybody can be. She never stays around after she does something to wait for you to say thank you. I've waited a long time to say thank you to Mary Kerner.
right, I am new. Nobody told me we were having Academy Awards. I'm giving awards. I have no speeches. They don't tell me news. I think next year I'm going to change a little bit, and maybe I can give the same type of speech. When I came in September, most of the staff said to me, "You are going to love that 8th grade." I'm not from Missouri, but I said they have to show me. Over the years, they have been fantastic. They try, they become frustrated, but they are super, super kids. So at this point, I'd like to give some awards for those people who may not have been my most successful computer student, but were super as far as effort is concerned. Some of them also had the combination, but these people really, really tried. And I lost my glasses, so Eddie Arbogast. Kenneth Hughes.
Where are the rest?
Chris Bonin. Marie Hutney. Mary Conan. Dennis McCauley. Scott Mahoney. Carlos Phillips. And Carol Wolf. The following awards are given for outstanding achievement. Some of this I may have taught, a lot of it they knew from the past. They really did a super job. Joseph Albert. Sean Sadowski. What is it stop? Gene Smith. And Brian Seisen. Following awards are given for those people who have not only outstanding achievement, but attitude. Those people who are willing to help anyone who needed help in the classroom. When I couldn't get to them, these people were able to help those other people. Carol Fennessy. I should have something for them. They are superb. Michael Kelly, Gina Kelly, and Kristen Schleman. I have to put the three of you together. You come as a package, right? Congratulations to all of you.
Danielle?
Okay, we're ready. What can I say? This class was great. I'm going to miss you. This year's outstanding athlete went to female 209, Kristen Schleman. Okay. You sing at my wedding? Okay, the outstanding male athlete was Kenny Berry. They hate getting up here every year. I absolutely hate it. Okay, but 8-210, outstanding female is Lisa Octaviani. And for the male in that class, 8-10 is Ronald Valente. This year, Mrs. Ryan, Mrs. Hedrick, and myself, we had an aerobics fitness program after school. And there was always 2 8th grade girls that really stuck it out. And it was Carol Fennessy and Mary Kerner. Okay, since I've been here, we've added a new award, a sportsmanship award. And this goes basically to one person in the entire outfit that never, ever gave me a hard time. He was always understanding, and he's a super, super guy, Jeff Malone.
Now you can relax. Next, the music award will be given by Mrs. Dillon.
Honorable mention for music achievement in theory, performance, and appreciation go to the following students: Scott Mahoney, Diane Taylor, Christopher Clonin. Kristen Schlegel. And Kristen's famous Fellowship, Freedom, and Faith float got a reprise with our spring concert. It was the backdrop for the Constitution that we had attached to it. Jean Smith. I'll call the next name while Jean's coming up. Carol Wolf. Ronald Colate. Ronald's been in our school a very short time, but in that short time he managed not only to reach the class average, but he overtook it by some distance. The next two awards all are the same, honorable mention, but their performance has a little note on it that they are also proficient in dance, and they are Kenneth Berry, even though he had a bum foot for most of 8th grade, he still managed to excel, and of course, Sean Sadowski. And the last certificate goes to a boy who has done something that he's the first that we've recognized in this area. That is theory, performance, and appreciation, and composition. Edward Arbogast composed a little tune, and he taped it and brought it in. And I taught it to the 5th grade, and they sing it and play it and really enjoy it very much. So, and Mary Turner. I have to tell Mary that the page in my book flipped while I was doing her name, and so I don't have the certificate for her, but she has the book and shake hands with me. And now the first place awards go to the boy and girl in each of the 2 8th grades with the most outstanding record, not just for 8th grade, but all the way through school in these areas that I mentioned. In Sister St. Monica's class, guest Carol Fennessy. But as Mrs. Freund says, helpful, willing, and above all, cheerful. The boy in Sister St. Monica's class, I have to give him credit because he should always be at the end of the line because his name begins with Z. But he figured out a neat way to come up first. He just does better than anybody else, so he's always at the head of the class in spite of it all. Brian Zeiss. In Bach's day, all his relatives were such good musicians that to say he's a regular Bach meant to say he's a very talented person. But we have to change that now. In room 209, we have to say he's a regular Kelly, because both prizes are going to Kellys. Michael? probably noticed, is not just talented in music, but in art and other areas as well. In fact, one day I was sitting there looking through my penny saver, and I came across a letter written as George Washington would have read it. So I read it myself, and found it very interesting. Well, I got to the bottom line, and I find out that the author of the letter is none other than our friend Michael Kelly. So Michael's going to have to build a shelf for all these prizes he's winning. And last but not least, Gina Kelly. And Gina is ready, willing, and able to do anything musical that's required of her, but also she has a deep love of music that will enhance her whole life. I'd like to be able to take the credit for that, but it goes to God for giving her the gift and to her parents for nurturing it. So if I had 2 more boxes, I'd give one to God and one to the Kellys.
Thank you, Mrs. Dillon. And now we have some awards for art to be given by Mrs. Sanders.
Um, 10 years ago from today, I was back there in that audience because I graduated from here. It's very different being up here and looking at all of you. But I think it's a privilege that I have this opportunity to give out some awards. This is my first year of teaching, and I would like to thank all of the 8th graders for giving me such a wonderful experience. For a certificate award for outstanding performance, Gina Kelly. Jeffrey Myland. Carlos Phillips. Kristen Schleman. Diane Taylor. And this last award I have goes to a person who deserves it from, I don't know, I can't imagine. When I was in 8th grade and I started drawing, I mean, I have never seen such a talent. This award goes to Michael Kelly.
Thank you. Mrs. Turner, I believe you have some things to say in awards to give.
Last year, I continually heard wonderful things about the 7th graders. I decided after a while that everyone must be exaggerating because no class could be that fabulous. It was a delightful surprise to discover in September that all of the praise was well-deserved. I found that you could rise to any challenge. When I told you that we had a few short weeks to build an entire float, you said, no problem. We'll work on our free time at lunch and stay after school. I said that wouldn't be enough time. You asked, how about evenings and Saturdays? You all gave of your time and talents unceasingly. Sometimes you tackled worldwide problems like the needs of the homeless or the unborn. Other times you dedicated yourselves to tasks closer to home, like tutoring a classmate, assisting with a school concert, designing a poster or a book cover, or even showing the younger children how an aquarium should be maintained. Please remember that the more you learn, the greater the number of opportunities that will be open to you. Seize every chance to learn and keep your minds and hearts open to all of the experiences that will come your way in the next 4 years. This is a commencement exercise. In French, commencer means to begin. You're about to begin a new phase of your life that will be exciting, demanding, and promising. Enjoy it to the fullest and make it a very worthwhile experience. And I must say, in all of my 36 years, I've never met a nicer. It is also my privilege to give the Safety Patrol Awards. This is a very dedicated bunch. As I tell them every day, the younger children are depending on you, and they've proved themselves to be very dependable. If they would each come up to get their certificate, Scott Mahoney. John Masterson. Marie Hutnick. Carrie Hickey. Christian Slamus. Carlos Phillips. Kara Wolf. Edward Arbogast. Gene Smith. Michael McDevitt. Carol Tennessee. Michael Kelly. Ronald Galati. Janet Curran. Karen Valillo. Diane Taylor. Danielle Fisk. Jeffrey Milan. Morgan O'Rourke. Dennis McCauley. Kenneth Berry. Christine Cromwell. Gina Kelly. Danielle O'Rourke.
graduates. And I believe he has awards to give.
When all of this began, it was morning, according to Mrs. Freund, and it was. It's now afternoon. We'll try to have you out in time for the exercises tonight at 7:30. Also, before I begin what is serious, I would say, try not to calculate my age. You'll never figure it out. Graduation day has arrived. It is the day that you, the graduates, your parents, your relatives, your friends, and your teachers have anxiously looked forward to for a long time. Today is really a very special day, your graduation day and the Feast of the Sacred Heart. For many years you have been attending Mass each first Friday. As you so well know, the first Friday of the month is dedicated to the Sacred Heart of Jesus. So it is very fitting that your last Mass together was on this special feast of our Lord, the Feast of His Sacred Heart. So much has happened since you started this school year. It began with our frantic preparation for the 40th anniversary of Levittown and the 25th anniversary of our school. How could we ever forget those thousands of flowers we made and that lovely float that was designed by Kristen and put together by so many of us? During the year, you have showed your care and concern for others on so many occasions, at Thanksgiving, Christmas, during Lent, and on awareness days, when your generosity was felt by those less fortunate people. You have been asked to think of others many, many times, yet you never complained, at least not out loud. You were glad that you had what it takes to make others happy. For this, you will always be blessed. At yesterday's Mass, Father Jim spoke to you about radicalness, giftedness, hopes, and dreams. He reminded you that there is radicalness in sacrifice, that there is giftedness in being part of a small group, that you should follow your hopes and dreams and be faithful to your hopes and dreams. Never lose sight of your dreams. Never lose your relationship with God and with others. You have been told often that you are a very special group of young people. I would like to repeat that. You are a very special group of young people. You will be missed at St. Bernard, but you will not be forgotten. In the years to come, we expect to hear of your accomplishments and successes. We are proud of you now, and we will continue to be proud of you. On your last Awareness Day, you created your own creed based on the Nicene Creed. It was a wonderful experience for you and for us, as your creed slowly evolved from your thoughts and readings. One part that struck me was, and I quote, "We believe that the gift of the Spirit challenges us to a new vision of what the world can be if we try to make it better," end quote. That's a powerful statement, but it can become a reality if you really try to make it better. You also believe that prayer is a serious and powerful thing. Keeping this in mind will enable you to achieve that goal, to make the world a better place. May I take this opportunity to thank you, my friends, in 8210 and in 8209, for making this school year of 1987-88 such a memorable one. Teaching you, guiding you, correcting you, and loving you have brought me to this day with mixed emotions. I'm happy for you as you graduate, but sad to see you leave these hallowed halls. Hopefully, you will always remember your years and your teachers at St. Bernard with fond recall. Carry with you the memory that you have touched our lives deeply and that you are faithful to God eternally. May God bless you, your family, and your friends abundantly. Thank you. Who, through rain, sleet, etc., as the postman does, got to school every single day during this year. And this Perfect Attendance Award goes to Jean Smith.
Everyone today had talked about this class as being such wonderful, wonderful helpers to everybody, and it's true. And we know that service is the sign of a Christian, and that is one way that I'm going to remember the class of 1988. But there are two people, again, who are outstanding in helping everybody in the school. There are many people, but we have these two special people, Mary Turner and Carol Penston. Just repeating what Sister St. Monica said, I do not want this to end so that we're ready for the exercises tonight, but I do want to congratulate the class of 1988, and I want to congratulate the parents that I've known for so many years and have seen their children grow. May they always walk with the Lord. God bless you.
So please stand and come up and get your gifts from your homeroom teacher. And then sit down.
Left in the place. Maybe the fathers are doing all right. The mothers are a little shaky right now. We have been complimented, I think, today, because we have been complimented by our children and by the staff here at St. Bernard's. I think that maybe one of the best things we ever did, and I hope you're in agreement with me, is the fact that we chose St. Bernard's to send our children. This is perhaps the feeling that we have gotten through 8 or 9 years of being connected with St. Bernard's. It's the children, it's the feeling that they have among one another. And if you had been present at the 8th grade dance, I think you would have seen some of the joy and the fun and the good feeling that this class has amongst each other. The teachers have been, throughout the years, dedicated to doing the best for our children in making them the best. The staff, the priests, have all worked hard in developing a sense of community and of love that's going to last these children after they're out of here. We have some gifts that the 8th grade would like to present to the teachers on a daily basis with our children, has grown to know them, and as has been said so often, and she has said herself, that this class is very special. And we want to say thank you and a wonderful summer for her and a wonderful year next year. The teachers have been very busy, what with the parades, the float, confirmation, graduation, and through it all, Sister St. Monica has been standing true. And so we have a little gift that we would like to present to Sister St. Monica. Mrs. Brunner, who is how old? That's your cue, fellas. Mrs. Brunner, who is how old? 36. has worked very hard, as Sister has, especially during the time of the float building. And we want to say thank you very much to her. One of the people that hasn't really been here that long, but I think has come close to becoming a true friend to our children here at St. Bernard's is Father Pye, and we would like to say and last but not least, we have something for Mrs. Kelly, who is the 7th grade teacher, quote unquote, who does a great deal of preparation, especially with the sacrament of confirmation for our children, and who worked very, very hard on that, and we'd like to say thank you to Mrs. Kelly. Now, all of those that received packages would have to open up their package now so that everyone can see what they received.
graduation ceremony is always a moving experience, and coupled with our graduation mass of this morning and the brunch at which many of the awards were given, the entire day is really an affirmation of so many different people. And I was glad to be affirmed too with my t-shirt with all the names of the recent graduates. This morning in Mass, as was appropriate, I think, I addressed the question of your personal religious values. But we don't go through life as encapsulated in some kind of plastic box. We go through life as persons. We go through life interacting with other persons. And much of the preparation that you have received in St. Bernard's School is precisely for that interaction with other persons. Not just for a short period of time, but for your entire life. In choosing your lifestyle and your way of life and your vocation and avocation, all the ways in which you intend to live your life, it seems clear that this class is very much concerned about people. Father Jim mentioned, having looked through some of your suggestions as to what you would like to do with your lives, and to a great extent, you reflect the values of a Christian humanism. You may not have used that language, but it expresses in a brief way the type of lives you want to live. The values of Christian humanism come from this. Humanism, first of all, based on the realization that we are God's creation and we live in God's world. And we want to live as custodians of God's creation and as helpers with God, taking care of His material creation and the other persons whom He has created. In other words, there is a desire to live your lives as loving and helping persons. How is that going to be done? In a very short time, you'll have your first opportunity to carry these values into a new setting. You're leaving a somewhat protected arena for a more open context of life when you go into high school. And so you're going to have your first opportunity to bear witness to Christian values. What kind of values will you bring? When you go into public or Catholic high schools and meet new people, will you stand for something? Or will you just take on the coloration of your environment? I don't mean that you have to go in with the idea of becoming a crank, opposed to everything, rejecting everything. That's certainly not the approach of Christian humanism. But the Christian humanist approach means that you should have certain values and ideals which are solid and well-founded and based in human nature and based on a religious foundation.
Christian living, Christian courtesy of blood, in memory of Reverend Mark J. Dunn, donated by St. Bernard's Rotary Society, is a awarded this year to Daniela Roth and Sean Sadowski.
for the future. Let us pray. God our Father, graduates, please be seated. Parents, please stand.
Hold on to what is good. Return no man or woman evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support the weak. Help the suffering. Honor all men. Love the unloved. Serve the Lord, rejoicing in the power of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
I can't say smile, so you're gonna have to smile by yourself.